Hey there, how's it going? We're on the internet, so you're probably not a stranger to clickbait, and that is a lot of what has happened in the last 14 hours or so regarding Marvel Rivals. You might have seen headlines like this one from GameSpot saying Marvel Rivals game director and full team have just been laid off, which is no longer clickbait. That is just an incredibly misleading thing to try and cash in on the mid-season hype for Marvel Rivals. It is not true pretty much in any way that you want to look at it. So I'm here to tell you what is actually happening, what the problem with this sort of clickbait is, and how it has completely derailed an important conversation, and then tell you what the real sorts of solutions to that problem are. And by the way, hi, I'm Mug. I apologize for the shower look, but it's what I have. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. Trust me, I'm the #1 fan of vague statements like big corporation bad, gamers good. But this time the story is a bit more complicated. If you like the video at any point, like it. I think it's really important this time around because I think people need to actually be informed. Thank you. So what that headline that I showed you is referencing is that a support studio for NetEase, in this case, the support studio was based in Seattle, composed of 6 people, and they were hired in January of 2023 to help bring the game across the finish line with a specific goal of working on research and development for new map and gameplay mechanics. So we would assume some of the more destructible arenas like the floating thing in Burn T'Challa, stuff like that. This headline makes it sound like the actual game director, like Guangan, I believe is how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, over in China has been fired, and the full studio, as if like the 300 people who probably work on Marvel Rivals or something, have been fired, when that is absolutely not the case. Now let's be clear, this still sucks. These 6 people, as confirmed by Nick Calandra over from Second Wind, have been let go, but it is also true that they were a support studio, the only American support studio for NetEase with this, and they were brought on late with that intention of getting the game past release. This is a very common practice in the industry. Doesn't mean it's good. Just because something is standard doesn't mean it's good, but it is standard to bring on support studios, contractors, extra help towards the end, sometimes with an end date on their contracts of just like once the game is out, you're gone. Sometimes it's a little bit more up in the air, and that is the case with this team of 6 people. Additionally, as per Daniel Ahmad, also known as YugeX over on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer to say, which is an industry specialist on a lot of finances numbers, especially centered in Asia, absolutely nobody from the core team over at NetEase has been impacted by these layoffs. Now, once again, I'm not presenting excuses here. It absolutely sucks that even if you are a support studio that was brought on late, you know, you're the satellite thing to kind of help with the game towards the end, when the game is massively successful, a game like Rivals that has gone against the grain and against everything that could have been predicted in a time where live services are dying and everybody is shouting that from the rooftops, they made such an exceptional game that it is incredibly successful as a live service. And in my opinion, it is very good in many ways. It is healthy for the industry and how it brings competition. It has a lot of focus on pro-consumer stuff in it, very surprisingly. Very good feedback from the development team. Very good communication with its fan base. There's a lot to really like about Marvel Rivals. And despite its overwhelming success, this support team has been fired. This is a problem. And the solution to this sort of problem is that even if it is the standard to have these teams work on this sort of stuff, if the game is a breakout success, maybe you should have a grace period where it's not a free charity. You're not meant to just give these people money and keep them around for free, for laughs. No, you brought them on because they have a specific set of skills that you required at that time. You can probably put those same skills to use in time, like now, after that success. They were brought on to help, and if they helped well and did their job, that you should keep them around. Now, some people might say that's the obvious thing, and they actually aren't keeping them around. They're being fired because they're not good at their jobs, which is also not true. We don't know. The reality of how corporate structures work is that any penny that can be saved will be saved. So it does suck. It sucks that it's a standard, that this is how a lot of the industry works, but it also sucks that this clickbait ass title that a lot of different websites have used of the game director being fired, trying to cash in on the hype around the new season of Marvel, means that a ton of people were like super angry. Oh no, gaming corpos, greed, so much horrible, I hate this. Oh no, now I have to hate Marvel Rivals too. And when they go in, they find out it's a support team up in Seattle of 6 people, and they're like, well, I feel lied to, and you know what? Screw them, they should be fired. They probably were doing a bad job. I feel so tricked in this clickbait that now it's very quick of me to like lash against it and not care. And in the middle, we lose the interesting conversation of it sucks that this is a standard, and what's the real story here? What is the actual reason they were fired? Is it just corporate greed? Is it just like, was it in the contract? Who is this coming from? Because I will also remind you guys that the core team making Marvel Rivals was not affected by the 9 people who had to be fired and are currently in a legal proceedings for embezzlement that happened over at the top of NetEase when it came to some executives last November. That had nothing to do with the dev team. Very probably the firing of the Seattle team doesn't. I can't affirm that, but let's be honest, no game development team wants to have less members, okay? So it was probably a decision from the top executives, which we already knew were maybe not the best, right? Which is normal. These are the same people that will fire these 6 or, sometimes 5% of the staff of a company like EA and then give themselves huge bonuses. There is a lot of gray within all of the black and white that we sometimes try and portray in these sorts of situations. But there's one thing that I will always say is pretty clear. A lot of the people that are at the top know what they eat, and you know what the people below them get to eat as well. However, a lot of this fiasco and how it has been portrayed, especially when you look at just headlines, which is what a lot of people just look at. They just look at the headlines, they react with that, they get mad. They have like really hot takes in the moment, things go viral very quickly, and misinformation is always there. And as a person who covers the industry very, very in depth and always looks for those grays and tries to make sense of things and wants to make sure that blame is properly attributed to who it needs to be attributed to, I have found this situation to be particularly sad. And just in case, because somebody's going to pop it up in the comments, I am not in the Marvel Rivals creator program. I am not in contact with anybody at NetEase. I obtain absolutely nothing from defending them, which is why I'm not defending them. I'm saying that you have to know how to separate the fact that the core development team is still there and they're probably still responsible for a lot of the good that this game has, and they're still working hard on it, and that the decision of what was initially a very misleading series of articles of firing this 6-man team over in Seattle is not like some evil thing. It's standard practices in the industry that happen to be evil, just in general, and probably done by the same group of people that exist in every single company that kind of exist to ruin stuff. Let's be honest. So I just find this whole ordeal of Marvel Rivals is really bad now because NetEase is an evil, greedy, giant corporation just like every other, as if we hadn't known that from that embezzlement case or anything. Now we must hate Marvel Rivals type of stuff. And also how unnecessary I feel a lot of the backlash to the clickbait has been of like, actually you tricked me. It's not the game director, it's a game director of the satellite studio for which there were only 6 employees in a standard practice within the industry. And now I'm mad, and actually NetEase is great. So good job that they fired them. Things are not that black and white. There is a lot more to things, and you need to know how to separate that stuff. Having said that, like, keep in mind that NetEase's core business is a publisher. They work on stuff like with Blizzard for many years on bringing things to China. They are relatively new to developing their own games, and they have 29,128 employees that are being handled. So, for example, those 9 people that were involved in embezzlement up at the top, it's very easy that absolutely nobody who has anything to do with Marvel Rivals even knows them, has ever seen them or seen their name. This is a massive company that operates as a massive company. Of course, there is greed and evil and cutting corners and making sure that every last penny goes where it's supposed to type of stuff. Is that fun? No. Is that the reason that we should fake news, the clickbait everywhere and be like, oh, look how terrible stuff is? Also, no. Like, it would be nice if these places would, like, report stuff honestly. Just saying. But anyways, I hope that this has cleared up the information. Whatever your opinion on it is, whatever you want to do about it, that's up to you. I just want you to be properly informed of the circumstances and what is going on. Information is power at the end of the day, so keep yourself informed. That's a lot of what I do here on the channel. And I hope to keep you guys informed as much as I can. Kind of an unorthodox video for me, very fast production and stuff like that on this to get it out. But if you like what I do, you agree with that message, make sure to subscribe and you get news on video games, on the industry, on stuff within it all the time. You get reviews of all of the latest games. I have to go finish writing my review for Avowed. That's been a tricky one, trust me. As well as just videos on video games, be that old stuff, new stuff, indies. I just love video games and everything around them. That's what I do here on the channel, okay? An extra special thanks to the patrons who support that craziness that I sometimes do on this channel. I'm eternally thankful for their support on the channel and allowing me to do as much as I do here. As per usual, thank you for watching. Go out there, enjoy some great video games, and I'll see you again very soon.